part of me. Yes, I've got you
Hey, welcome back to Piece of Chaos.
under my skin.
So, I don't know if you guys are watching the hearings on the January 6th insurrection, but honestly, I'm pretty riveted. I feel like this is a just insane moment in history for this country, and I'm not like the biggest, typically haven't been in my life the biggest like well, I don't know, patriot in terms of like following what's going on in the government, giving it much attention. But when you realize that nothing like this has really happened since Watergate in terms of like a public trial, and what happened, what Nixon did to, warrant such a trial, I mean, doesn't seem like it's anything close to as horrible as what's going on. Now, whether or not they can prove, a case and anything ever happens to Trump is almost not the point to me. I mean, obviously that would be interesting, but this is all bad for the country that this happened. So that's the part that's fascinating, right? So I can see if you're on a political ideology where you, maybe you've been Republican your whole life and you just vote Republican and you're willing to look past any of the stuff that bothered you from a human level that seemed to be intolerable with Trump, from my perspective anyway. And it was just that Republican, pull of the old Republican ticket. But I think it's bigger than that. I think we're literally seeing what appears to be the biggest ever national grift. I mean, this makes televangelists look weak in comparison to the amount of money that seems to have been taken in by this, just keep this negative story going. It doesn't even matter. It does matter if that guy can get elected again, I guess. It would be even worse, but I just don't know how you can look at all of this information. And here's the thing. One of the things that's being said, because I'm trying to look at the other side to try and understand it, because I don't understand how you can watch this as an American and still feel like this isn't important and something we need to pay attention to, and that if there were opposition to the facts, being presented of the case by a bipartisan committee, if there's opposition, they are actually inviting people to come in with opposition. And the best thing you can do if something isn't, lining up is dispute it with facts. And there's an open door, it seems, at least, on its face, for anyone to ask these to come in and present information. I don't know where you would get such information, I guess, because it just looks like a very good reality TV star who has had a long career of going bankrupt, bullshitting, not paying his debts, insulting people. It looks like it looks like, at least so far, he created a fund and got people to donate to it. That fund happened to be this idea that the election was stolen, which doesn't seem to be the case. This is the same guy that basically like 10 years before, I think, running for president, said on television, if I was going to run for president, I'd be a Republican because they're so stupid. Like I could get them to do anything. You could walk out in the middle of the street and shoot somebody and get away with it, something along those lines. Like, man. It's weird. So I'm watching these hearings and I'm just fascinated. And of course, it's being told in a true crime story format. But I'm trying to understand how you could possibly not see this. And I mean, it brought me to tears to watch it the first day and see some of the footage of what people were doing. And now, they're only two episodes in. And exposing this idea that there never were these funds that were being advertised, that were being emailed, and that people were clicking and donating $5, donating $10, adding up to $250 million. There's no accounting for that money other than a few million, a handful. And most of them were just to pay off people. Just like, oh my God, is this real? Is this real? And if this is real, how can we let this stand? So I find it very fascinating to be living through such a historic time. We have a global pandemic. We have apparently an insurrection and just this split reality. And one of the stories that's coming out from conservative outlets or whatever is this idea that this is a distraction and this is a sham to distract us from the recession and all this other stuff, that it's just a distraction. And I'm like, no, actually, I think, or, a distraction from the real problems with the country, right? So, and there are many. The gas prices. It's insane. But I also find it ironic that so many people on the conservative side of the world, at least by, what I see in terms of rallies and stickers and supporters and stuff, like they bought a lot of giant pickup trucks, which are terrible on gas. And now gas prices are, here in California, $7-ish, approaching $7 a gallon. That's a lot of gas in a truck. Anyway, isn't that ironic? So all of these things that are happening, high gas prices, inflation, the shootings, the gun reform legislation, these are problems too. And it seems like we had an insurrection on our hands. It's not or. Both are true. And both, there's more than two. All of these things are true, and they're all happening at once. We have a pandemic that seems to be waning, but, that's great. We have, horrible vaccine hesitancy and mistrust. We have the insurrection. We have high gas prices. We have inflation. We have a lot of shit going on all at once. I think I would love to know if this is an extra crazy. It seems like it is. I think I'm not a historian by any stretch, but I definitely kind of have brushed up on history and stuff like that. But I find it fascinating. This seems like a really, really, really crazy time, but is it just because I'm at the age where you pay attention to these things? I mean, in the 60s, there was horrible civil unrest also, the civil rights movement. I don't know. Martin Luther King was shot. Kennedy was shot. Like, that's pretty crazy. I had a friend of mine who's a bit older than me say, during that time, I thought everything was going to be over. I thought it was over. But we made it through. So maybe if you think it's over because everything's so crazy, maybe, have a little faith. I mean, I think we've never seen a trial of this magnitude for something so, I mean, let's be honest, we have slipped in our civics lessons for kids. I barely got it. Understanding government and all that kind of stuff. It was always so boring. At least in the way it was taught when I was a kid. I had one really good American history professor in high school, and he was awesome, and he really made it interesting and brought it to reality. And I think that's kind of the lens I try to take on what's happening now and really look at it. Anyway, but I have hope. I'm optimistic that we can shine some light on the darkness, really expose this and get, I don't know, a decent percentage of the people who were on the fence, who didn't believe what was going on, to wake up and see that this is, I mean, another conspiracy theory is that, yeah, it's bipartisan, but they're just part of the military-industrial complex. They both want the same things, and this is the way to do it. I'm like, man, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work to go through to, like, have that agenda. Like, I don't think anybody wants to be doing what they're doing. It's admirable service to our nation. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't think I would be as moved as I was on January 6th to see them come back into the chamber after that and continue the vote. I mean, that was an incredible gesture of I don't even know what you call it, patriotism, I guess, or belief in the Constitution and how special this republic is, and this American experiment is. It feels like another crucial time like that where we really just have to understand all of these things are happening at once. We need to handle them like adults. And we need to handle them with the truth as far as we can dig into the truth. And I hope we can do that. I honestly don't really care if anybody goes to jail. I really don't. I don't think that matters. I mean, I guess it matters so that, we can't have this happen again. Will it be a deterrent? I don't know. Maybe we'll just recognize it better when it starts next time. That was one of the perspectives I wanted to dig into a little bit, is how did Germany handle this after World War II and their realization of what they've just been through, mass psychosis, mass it's like cult behavior, I guess. But, you got to come out of that. People were alive before it happened and after it happened that had to be like, boy, what was I thinking for the last decade? That's the crazy thing, is it lasts for so long. So from the time it really kind of kicks in to the time it's finally over and exposed is, it's just a generation. It's a decade. And we're, 6 years in, if you want to count 2016 as the time we fell under this spell, maybe even a little bit before, in order for that to happen. And, we didn't have a pandemic during that period of time. So we went 100 years without a pandemic. I don't think anybody could say that was handled well across the board by governments, local and federal. But nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody had a playbook, or if they did, they didn't follow it. Mistakes were made. Let's not let it happen again, because it, was horrible and terrible, but we survived, if we survived. So let's learn from it. That's the only way to get better, right? So anyway, I'd love to hear feedback if you guys are watching this and see something different. But to me, it's like everything's nuanced. Everything is not black and white. It's nuanced. It's gray. And all of these things are true. All of these things are happening at once. It's not either or. There's a military-industrial complex that should be sorted out and not be allowed to run rampant. There's the remains of a pandemic. We have food shortages. We have supply chain problems. We have crazy inflation. Gas prices are high. All of these things are true. There was an insurrection on January 6th. There were a lot of people who believed they should do that. That's also true. We need to bring everything into the light and really look at it like adults and get better. So that's my positive message for this week. Thanks for tuning into Piece of Chaos. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share, rate, review, all that. I got some good guests coming up finally. They're on the calendar. Summer is interesting, right? It just flies by. It's already the middle of June. And I'm doing some traveling, so it's going to be spotty probably coming in and out of the podcast, but fear not. There will be more. And I'm going to keep watching these hearings. I want to see how it goes. It's very interesting. I guess they figured, hey, let's make it like a Netflix series, and then maybe people will pay attention. Not a bad idea. Anyway, thanks. Thanks for listening to Piece of Chaos. Be well.